Dear Mary, it's been a long time. Too long. So long that I considered not addressing this to you. I mean, when was the last time we talked? But then I thought about it, and this has always been to you and for you, and it always will be. So, dear Mary, how you been? How's life? How are things? What are you doing? What are you up to? I hope you've been well. I hope you've been doing your thing. I've been doing my thing as much as I can. It feels like life has been lifing, and my thing now is so much different than what my thing was before. But I digress. That's not what this is about. This is about yarn and knitting. And I just wanted to share with you what I've been doing with yarn and what I've been knitting. So let's just get into it. Hey, hi, long time no see. Hello. Welcome back to the Talk Your Knit podcast. I'm DeeDee, one half of this podcast correspondence. And like I said, it's been a while since the last time I posted an episode of this knitting podcast. Life has just been lifing. We moved, I got a job, and I guess things just look substantially different now than they did when I started the podcast. But I still really enjoy the idea of having a knitting podcast and having a platform to talk about my knitting projects and what I'm working on. And so I am not quite ready to give it up yet. So if you're still interested, I still would love to talk your knit with you. So let's do that. I don't have any finished objects. I don't think I've finished a knitting project in months. I have a lot of things that I've started, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But I have not been finishing knitting projects. I've been casting on like left and right. But I think the last thing I actually finished knitting, I finished knitting it, I didn't actually finish it, was a knitted backpack from a Lion Brand kid. I apologize if you can hear my tiny humans in the background. He is watching something on his tablet, and I mean, my tiny humans live here too, so we all must endure each other's noise. That being said, I was talking about it's a backpack from a Lion Brand kit that I bought last summer. Yeah, and that's the last thing I finished knitting. Let me go find that and I'll show you. Like I said, I finished knitting it. I haven't actually put the backpack together. I knit up the body, knit up the straps, and I think, yeah, I did. I made the cord for the drawstring for the bag, but haven't put that bad boy together. But let me go grab it and show you. This is the strap. It's in one. This is the body of the bag. It's cute, right? It's got a little flap. There's a drawstring that goes through it. That's just like a twisted cord of yarn. I bought some plain quilting cotton to line the bag, and then some ribbon to put through the strap so it doesn't stretch out too much. And that's the last finished knitting project that I have.
the object isn't done because I still need to put all the pieces together, but the actual knitting is finished. And like I said, that's from last summer. I think it's been almost exactly a year since I knit that. And I haven't finished anything since. That's the last knitting project that I finished knitting. And other than that, I just have a bunch of like partially completed projects. And recently I've been having a lot of like craft envy. I've really been envious of crocheters and the things that you can make with crochet. And it's kind of become my mission a little bit to make these crochet patterns that I'm obsessed with, or like these crocheted objects that I'm obsessed with, but in knitting. I'm always coming across these like crochet tops or like crochet bustiers or crochet skirts. And I'm just like, oh, that's so cute. But that's not how, you know, things will work out in knitting. And it's kind of frustrating because I can't crochet. I have tried. I promise I have. But my brain doesn't work in crochet. My brain works in knit. And knitting is what I enjoy. So I just figured there has to be a way to reverse engineer the crochet projects into like the yarn craft that I do, right? I'm jealous of crochet. I'm jealous of the things that crocheters can make, and I'm jealous that my mind does not work in crochet for me to be able to make those things myself. So I'm trying to take these beautiful crochet things that I want to have and make them in knitting so I can have them, basically. So I don't have to be jealous anymore, and I can just have my own versions. And that has led me to one of the things that I like about crocheted garments is like that little bit of space between the stitches. You know, crochet kind of has like those gaps that come. I don't know how they're formed. I don't know anything about crochet. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing about crochet. But like when you look at a crochet garment, you know, that has like little spaces in between the stitches, and you can't really achieve. You don't achieve that knitting the traditional way, like knitting every stitch. That's just not how knitting works. But I wanted to emulate that in knitting. So what I did was I knit the skirt with yarn overs throughout. And I alternated the placement of the yarn over in each section. Well, like in each color section. So you see there's like this deep magenta and then like a dusty rose and then like a even lighter. That's actually a mix of this second color and this third color together. Is it, or is that a fourth color? It's been so long since I cast this on. I legitimately don't remember. Let's check the bag. Okay, so I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. Four pinks and a yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't realize that I had used that many different colors. So it is the Jeep Magenta is 1. This dusty pink is 2. There's like a heathered pink that's 3. A very soft ballet pink, and then this, the color of the year basically, like butter yellow at the bottom. And I held the yarn double so that when I was transitioning from one color to the next color, I could hold a strand of the first color and then a strand of the new color. So in this like 4 rows that transitions from magenta to dusty pink, there's 4 rows where I'm holding that double, and it's the same way down. And so yeah, it's basically self-drafted. I just made a swatch and figured out, you know, my waist measurement, my hip measurement, and did it like that. there is a elastic casing at the top, and then I gathered up like this little slit and put pearls on it. So that's that. But like I said, I finished this a while ago, maybe 23. I've had this one for a little minute, and it's part of a set. Like I said, inspired by a crochet piece that I saw on Pinterest. And this is the other piece of the set. And it's supposed to be a little crochet, a knit bustier that emulates a crochet bustier, right? And again, self-drafted. I found a pattern for the cups, but the rest is self-drafted. I just kind of am figuring it out as I go, basically. But once I went to like try it, because I sewed bust cups into it so that like it wouldn't be see-through. But then it didn't fit once the bust cups were in. And part of me thinks I might have to just start over on this top because it is a little bit tight and the knitted cups don't fit particularly well. But like, oh, my heart's not in it. Like, I sewed the pearls into it and I made the straps, and I'm just, it's really gonna break my heart if I have to start over. It's really gonna break my heart. I knit this little scalloped hem, and yeah, I'm really not looking forward to having to start over. But it's been like 2 or 3 years and it's still not finished. But that was my first foray into knit that looks like crochet. And when I kind of put this away, because I was so frustrated that that top didn't come out the way I wanted to, I moved on to my next knit that looks like crochet. And that is this. So this is a pair of little shorts, also inspired by a pin I saw on Pinterest. I bought this yarn for the flowers at Carolina Fiber Fest 2024 and knit a heck ton of these little itty bitty flowers. That's another thing that it's easier to do in crochet than knit, make these little flowers. For me, I had to like knit the center and then knit each petal, but each petal I have to break the yarn to start the next petal. And I know, well, I don't know, but I'm fairly certain that in crochet, it's less like labor intensive to make something similar. That's why there's so many of those like little crochet flower garments and objects everywhere. But like I said, I was determined to emulate crochet in knit, make the thing that I wanted, but do it in a craft I'm capable of doing. So we're this far. I've attached the flowers to the waistband and to the leg bands. I still need to obviously clip all the threads and clean it up, but like this feels like a success to me. The same way that the skirt for the first set feels like a success. It's once I get to the top that like things go to heck. Okay, so this is the top that's for those shorts. I feel like you can tell, obviously, since it's the same yarns. But again, inspired by that pin that I saw on Pinterest, it is like a triangle top and then more of those flowers put all over it. And I want to cover the whole thing in flowers. But like I told you before, making the flowers is super time consuming, and then attaching the flowers is also super time consuming. I feel like in crochet you could just like crochet the flowers into the top, and with knitting, like you could connect all the flowers together with a crochet hook. And with knitting, you can't really do. And I cannot crochet anything. I cannot make a chain. I cannot do a crochet stitch. I'm not capable. That is just not a skill that I have, unfortunately. So I do have to, one at a time, pick up a flower and stitch it in place and stitch down all the sides of all the petals. So each flower has 5 petals, so that's 10 sides, and stitch down the center. And it's just so slow and time consuming. And I thought I was gonna have this done for vacation last year, having bought the yarn for the flowers in March at Carolina Fabric Fest. I did not have it done for vacation last year. And I also didn't have it done for vacation this year, because we've already gone on our family summer vacation. We went the first week of July. Still not done. Still not done. But yeah, I've really been obsessed with trying to recreate crochet in knit. I feel like, I mean, it's definitely one of those things where, like, if you want a crochet piece so badly, learn to crochet. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm old and I'm set in my ways. So since I'm not going to learn to crochet, I just have to retrofit the skill that I have to fit the craft that I want. And like, I don't know, I guess you don't see a lot of knitters that are like, I'm just gonna figure out how to make my knitting into crochet. And I think maybe it's just like, you know, you have your skill that you have, and you make what you can make with that, and you be happy with it, right? I don't know, like, is it entitled of me to say the craft that I do is knitting, and I'm just gonna make this crochet thing fit knitting? Like, is that entitled of me to be like, I refuse to learn how to crochet, I'm just gonna make it work in knitting? Like, is that like people who travel to foreign countries and refuse to learn the language? am I a bad craft person? Like, am I an entitled crafter because I feel like I should be able to force the craft that I do to give me the result that I want? Or is that innovation? You know what I mean? Is it like, okay, I know that the thing that I want, the object that I want is a crochet object, and I know that the craft that I do is not crochet, but I can use the skills that I do have to make something that is similar enough to the thing that I want without having to learn an entirely new skill set to do that. So, like I was saying, I feel like it's innovation. I feel like it's using the skills that you have. I feel like it's using what you got to get what you want, a la Players Club, which is commendable. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being selfish. Like, I feel like I'm entitled to have all the beautiful things without having to work for them. I don't know. I want it. I want to have it. And if this is the way that I get it, then this is the way I go about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. So you have to let me know what you think in the comments. If you are a knitter who can also crochet, or a crocheter who can also knit, how did you go about learning one or the other? I generally find that people who do one don't do the other. Or I guess most of the yarn crafters I know have, like, they do one or the other, usually whichever one you learn first. So I learned how to knit. I'm entirely self-taught. I learned from a book I bought at Walmart when I was in high school. And it's the only yarn craft that I do. It's the only yarn craft that I really feel obligated or like I feel the desire to do, but I want to have crocheted things. And I guess a lot of the people that I meet in real life who also do yarn crafts are similar. Like, oh, my grandmother taught me to crochet and I only crochet, I don't really knit. I think online you see a lot of people who do both, who are competent knitters and competent crocheters, which kind of could lead you to believe that doing both is very common. But I guess that has never been my experience in real life, like actual human people that I have met in person and shaken hands with. But I don't know. Maybe my experience is wrong. I would love to hear from you. Are you a knitter or a crocheter? If you are one or the other exclusively, is it the first one that you learned or the only one that you've learned? Have you ever tried doing the other? And were you successful? Because I would be very interested to know if it's just a me thing. Like, am I the problem? Am I the villain? I could be the villain. I could be. Right. So I have two more whips. One is more of an active whip and one is an active whip and one is on hold because I need to get more yarn. So let me show you the active one first. If you saw my knitting vlog, then you've already seen this. But this is another vacation set that I'm working on that was supposed to be for vacation this year and obviously did not get done in time for vacation because I'm really good at this. Finishing things. Really great at it. So this is a skirt that I'm knitting. And like all the knitting is done, it's just like the finishing. Putting on the buttons, sewing down the button band. I'm using a strip of thick ribbon to make a button band so that it doesn't stretch out and also so the buttons have something to attach to, like something sturdy to adhere to, so I can sew the buttons into the ribbon and they won't come out. I got that idea from a Boys and Girls pattern for a bomber jacket that I knit a few years ago. So yeah, the knitting is done for this. It's just like the actual construction, clipping all the loose threads. I blocked it and everything. It just needs to get turned into, like, have its buttons attached and have the finishing work done. So that's that. And then to go with it, so this is the front of this polo top. It is also going to get a button band and buttons like the skirt. This is the back. It's that same kind of checkerboard with the bright, happy tropical colors. And there's two little sleeves. Well, there's one little sleeve. Where's the other little sleeve? I'm missing a sleeve. But yeah, this still needs to be put together and have the collar knit on. So this has a little bit more actual knitting work to go. And again, it was a pin I saw on Pinterest. I went and found patterns that could make it, because that is a lot of my knitting, is like seeing a thing and be like, ooh, I want to have that, and then reverse engineering how to make it from patterns that are available to me. It's very uncommon that I like find a pattern that I feel like I need to knit. It's more often than not I find a garment that I want to recreate and then find patterns that will fit that, and if at all possible, that are free and available online that I can modify. So Okay, and the last thing that I'm working on is a soda pop top. One of my favorite knitting projects that I've ever made is my raspberry soda pop top, and I always fall back on that pattern when I want to make like a cute blousey top. And I so I work in a preschool, and there were these twin girls who came to the school, and they used to wear these Disney princess dresses, and they were from like Walmart or the Gap or something, but it was a knit top and then like a tulle skirt on the bottom, but they looked like the iconic dresses that the different Disney princesses would wear. And I was like, well, I must have that, obviously, and I know how to knit and sew, so I can do that just fine. And so I figured that I could use the soda pop top as the knit top for the dress, and then obviously just stick my own tulle skirt on it. I'm sure you can tell that this is for Tiana. This is the back. I have finished the back and I finished both sleeves. I just need to finish the front, but I'm out of the brown yarn. So I have to wait and order some more of that from Knit Picks. I don't think I told you what any of these yarns were. Oh, okay. I'll have to like insert that somewhere. But I have to order more of the brown yarn from Knit Picks because I think I have enough of the 2 shades of green. The front also needs like some yellow and some white, and I think I have enough of those, but I'm definitely going to need some more of the brown since Tiana's dress is like strapless, and the soda pop top obviously has like a neck, collar, sleeves, like all of that. But I'm very excited about this. I love a fingering weight project on tiny needles in theory until I'm actually making it. So I'm excited to finish this. Hopefully by like October, Halloweeny time. That's the goal. But yeah, that's it. That's what I've been knitting. That's what I've been doing. Like I said, I just wanted to catch up. I just wanted to say hi. I just wanted to get back into the swing of things. I know initially the plan was to have like a theme, a topic, something that was going on in crafting to discuss. But like the only thing that's going on in crafting right now is like Joann's no longer existing. And I already cried about that in another video. And I just don't want to do that again. So instead, I've shown you all my current projects. I've complained about my inability to crochet, but my desire to have crocheted garments. And I guess I will leave it to you. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you still want to talk your knit with me. And please feel free to do that. Let me know in the comments what you're working on, any cool or interesting patterns, anything in the fiber arts, yarn, or knitting space that's kind of been on your mind recently, and your thoughts and feelings on people who refuse to learn but desperately want to have. Yeah, that's all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this from me. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I post a new video on this channel. And if you liked this video, please give it a like. This is a podcast in the most general sense, as in you can find it on podcasting platforms. So if you are an audio only podcast listener, please rate the podcast highly so that it can be found by more people who would enjoy it. Yeah. Sincerely yours, DeeDee.